Studio Report. The man, Kyle F. and Nash. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, listen, anybody who understands what's going on in football in general is a smarter man than I. That's why I call myself a student, man. The tides of chaos flow, and EJ Christian, I'm sure, like me, you're here for it.
I'm all about it, man. And I'll tell you right now, this reflects on my gambling too, especially the first 3 weeks of the year. I have not. I've the NFL, just betting NFL alone right now has been a disaster for me. Like you think you get a trend, you think you get a feel to a team or to a situation. Just when you get a feel to it, yank him.
Oh, bro, like listen, the biggest Lucifer Morningstar I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen, are all the times I said, don't bet this game to people, and they still did.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, I hope you bent the Jags like I said. Oh, you didn't because you're a chump.
I almost no. So here's the thing.
I want to hear about almost. You know what almost did means? A definite failure. Take it.
Okay, Jags fan, calm down. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa. I know you cover the team. I know.
I cover the team. I'm not a fan. There's a difference.
I almost bet them at 2:00 rather on Sunday, and then I got the reduce where Herbert's playing. I'm like, well, I don't know. Should I? And then, wow.
If you had listened to not only to what I would have said, I believe it was on Huddle Up and may not have been. If you listened to what I said on the Student of the Game podcast, bing! If you listened to what I said representing the Jaguars on the Play Callers Network Matchup Madness, bing! You would have known to bet them anyway, because I assumed Herbert was playing. Listen, if he played through the rest of that Thursday game, and he's practicing as much as he did going into it, like it was funny. Who was it? It was Keenan Allen, according to the injury reports, and the center, Lindsey, missed more time than Herbert did. So with all that in mind, I knew who Herbert was going to start, but I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. Okay,
save for a night, buddy. All right, so we're gonna this time we're gonna keep this very simple, and it's what I did with my cold open today on the podcast. Okay, 5 things I know, and 5 things I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you that same question now. The 5 things one by one, and we'll go through each one. We'll discuss it back and forth, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
So Kyle, give me the first thing you know right now in the NFL season.
Give me the first thing I know. I'll give you all 5.
Give me one right now. So
Dylon, and Dylon. Listen, nobody can actually say they know or don't know a lot here, just so we're clear on that.
Right.
I'm slimming omniscience, but what EJ Christian is doing here is he's having me play the part of meteorologist here in Florida, guessing what a hurricane will do. And the NFL has been quite the hurricane and storm. See what I did there? However,
yeah, I like that.
In no particular order, the things that I know. First off, the fraud cons still suck. Okay. I don't care that they beat Seattle. All right. That's the point in case there. With Marcus Mariota at quarterback, it's adorable. But you know what I learned also? That defense is even let Geno Smith look like he's a world beater. I'm not a hater of Geno Smith in and of itself, other than the people who supported him and overhyped him and tried to make how he wasn't picked where he was a racial issue when he came out in the draft. You're wrong. He's just not that good. That being said, his play this season is a very fun story. He has come back a better quarterback. Unfortunately, Seattle is still pointless on defense, just as much as the fraud cons. That game was going to be for who has the first overall draft pick, in my opinion. And somehow or another, the fraud cons managed to find a way to win in such a factor that they still lose, because now they have the upper hand on the Seahawks. But
yeah, well, if you're going that angle, then I will agree with you. However, you have
fraud cons. Come on.
Although you have to give them some credit here, though. They've been, should I say, frisky this year.
They're always frisky.
They could be easily.
What are they called again? What are they called again?
The fraud cons. We get that.
You fall for this shit.
No. They're not a good team. They're still in my bottom. Whatever.
You're always frisky. Well, I don't know what the fuck you can do.
But I thought they would be horrendous out the gate.
Yeah, they're not as bad as expected. Sure, they suck a little.
They should be 3-0 right now. They could be easily 3-0 right now. Easily 3-0 right now.
There's a lot of NFL teams that could have won games they didn't.
Great.
Could be,
but that's part of the chaos, I guess.
Which is still weird to say that the Jags could be 3-0. The Bills could be 3-0. except, but I digress.
We know about that. So, like I said, the Falcons, I think being a little too harsh on the Falcons. I get the fraud thing, but they're not. But we're not measuring the Falcons in the same way we did in the mid 2000s, mid aughts. For example, when they were actually a competitive team that was actually compete for Super Bowls or division titles. We knew coming in this year they're a bad team. So they're certainly playing much better than I thought they would be 3 weeks in.
Well, sure. And who is it that they've beaten though? Okay, now I get it. The Rams were struggling.
Overhyped Saints.
Overhyped Saints. A quarterback who's literally playing with fractures in his back, for the love of God. And they're sneaking past Geno Smith and the hapless Seahawks, who only have another win because they were playing against a quarterback that didn't play through the entirety of the preseason, against a quarterback whom the fans and players were hyped more than they're going to be for any other game.
Right.
And Nathaniel Hackett's a moron. Next question. Oh, by the way, leading to the second thing that we know, Ernest Christian, Nathaniel Hackett's a moron.
That's number two. Something you know.
Personally insulted now that not only did we miss the opportunity to see Russell Carrington Wilson stab his fans in the heart, he decides to take over the operation on Monday night in a game against the 49ers and win in the fourth quarter, where if Nathaniel Hackett were still running the show, the Niners would have had a win, regardless of the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo stepped out of the back of the end zone for a safety. They lost Trent Williams, probably one of the best tackles in the game for his age. And over and above all of that, actually, no, that's really basically
No, I don't disagree with you at all. If you listen to the cold open, basically, I basically said on the things I don't know. Are the every coach in the AFC West not named Andy Reid? Do they know how to coach? Josh Daniel, Hackett, and now Mr. Staley in you already know. I remember that drum since preseason. So
yeah, and listen, it's hard for me, and maybe there were some coaching errors against the Jaguars, but like with all the injuries that went into that game, Ernest Christian, and then you lose Bosa, you lose Nick Bosa in the first half, at least. I think it's the first quarter. I forget when exactly.
Yeah, it was pretty early.
Damn. And like, if you would listen to the Student of the Game podcast, bing, my statement was that the ability to win that game, despite all the injuries, was the defense's ability to keep the Jags one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Bosa goes out. Oh boy. Trevor Lawrence has himself a game, and James Robinson is breaking off 50-yard touchdowns.
Absolutely.
Listen, I was wrong about the Chargers winning the game, although I did say bet the Jags. I was also completely right, though, in that whole defense needs to be prevent balance thing. Because once that happened, whole nilly.
Well, so what else do you know? Third thing you know.
Third thing I know is, and this should be good news for you Cowboys fan, the Giants still suck. The Giants are absolutely horrific, and if you couldn't beat Riptide Ruts and the Cowboys, I like Saquon Barkley. It might be time to explore trading him for draft picks, because unless you want to end up like Carolina, you do not want that to be your future. Listen, I think the Eagles are here to stay for a bit. Jalen Hurts is looking decent. I'm not going to say him as a thing I know yet, but if the Cowboys, not to say they have a bad defense, by the way, but if the Cowboys can get a bit more stout on defense and get, I would argue, one more offensive playmaker, they'd be world-beating Kansas City, Los Angeles Rams level awesome. As it stands now, they are a playoff team. I predicted them a playoff team. People who have them in their top 5 in their power rankings and stuff, pump the brakes. You're on a little too many drugs. I won't report you to HR yet because it's a mistake that hapless morons make, not mentioning any names, but I hope someone's feeling the burn of my analysis. And if they don't like it, they can take some prayers as if they were a Christian. Anyways, so.
Wow. It's a lot of words there, buddy.
Like that, Julius? Anyway.
So, let me, go ahead.
So, yeah, but in short, the Giants still suck.
So I'm glad it came to that conclusion on something I've been saying from the year it started. And when it went 2-0,
it's not like I was. Listen, some of these are going to be softballs, EJ Christian, with all the craziness going on in the chaos in the NFL. Some of these are going to be no brainers. You're asking me what I know. I'm telling you the things I feel like I know. The best I have so far is the fraud cons, and the Giants suck.
They have survived,
and
I said this.
Heck, it sucks.
Right, and I said this too. Like they've survived basically on great coaching. That is it. Like
Yeah.
outside Saquon Barkley, who do you have? Daniel Jones is still hit or miss.
But that's my point.
You have receivers who complain about playing time, and then when they get playing time, they don't do jack shit on Monday Night Football. Kenny Galladay, I'm talking to you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. If you don't like it, too bad. That's go kick rocks then.
I guess EJ, one could say that you're not in the Galladay spirit.
Exactly. So look, to me, I said come here. If the Giants win 7 games this year, that's success.
Yeah, well, I don't have them winning that many, unfortunately. So you're in, for at least according to me, a big fat failure. They're all Grant. I did not pick them winning against the Titans. That's a whole other question.
Right.
Listen, man, Galladay was supposed to be a guaranteed win. Everybody around Jacksonville was critical of the Christian Kirk signing and how he was overpaid. But how do you like me now that I'm on my way? I'm just saying.
Trade him if we could. Trade him. All right, number 4. What do you like? Or do you know?
What else do I know? EJ Christian, you know what I know? You give the teams in the NFL a chance to stay around, they'll do some stuff. What's the commonality in the games that happened that we didn't pick? Be it this week alone, for example, Colts Chiefs. Be it Raiders Titans. Be it, actually, no, that's not a good example. The Raiders just remind us how goddamn bad their running defense is. I think those are the particular keys. We can mention other examples from. Oh, actually, no, sorry, I don't have to go to another week. Buffalo and Miami. Buffalo missed opportunities, and Miami took advantage. They were at home. They had the better crowd. They had the heat, blah, 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 all that other stuff. Granted, Miami did their part by dropping no fewer than 3 interceptions on defense. And I'm not talking about, a ball is near a defender when it hits the turf and someone calls it almost intercepted, looking at you, Tirico. But, and I like Mike Tirico before we start, going too far off on that.
Oh, he's great. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he certainly beats the hell out of Collinsworth. Anyways, so no, and Joe Buck for that matter. You can go Joe. You could Joe Buck yourself. If you have a problem with that.
You know what? You're gonna hate my my podcast. I just recorded today. Then I went in on the Buck and Aikman thing. So
listen, if you talked about Buck and Aikman being awesome on NFL primetime, then you're absolutely correct. And fire Boog and McFarland. But what I'm getting to is these picks I'm talking about with the Dolphins that they missed are in people's hands. I get it. That's why they play defense. Sure. But as missed opportunity goes, there was a ton, Ernest Christian. That's all I could say. Tell your Miami people to get right.
And again, it's a gambler. These games, like I said, I should have taken Colts to the points. Didn't do it.
Oh, no, stop it. Stop it. That is some revisionist Captain Hindsight bullshit. You've been watching too much South Park. You've fallen into the trap of Captain Hindsight. There is no way.
7 points though.
No way, based on evidence in front of you, that you should have had any faith in the Colts. You're better off not betting a game like that. I didn't see how big the spread was, but as I understand,
7 points, 7.5 points at one point.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way: I didn't do enough research on it to advise that game like I did the Jags. But listen, with the information in front of me too, I would have considered it as well. Unless DeForest Buckner was healthy again, there's no faith I would have had in the Indianapolis Colts.
All right. Are we in the 5th one now? Yeah. The 5th one now.
Okay, yeah. The 5th one.
The 5th thing that you know right now.
The 5th thing that I know right now. Well, I think we touched on it. The Raiders' running defense is terrible. Sure, it's Derrick Henry. But at the end of the day, wasn't he silenced last week? Now, part of it was the fact that I actually picked the Titans to lose. So, of course, they won because that's what the Titans do. but yeah, at day's end, that's kind of where I'm at with the 5 things I know, man. Because it's actually, you want to change what my my 5th thing is. You know what else I know is the 5th thing in the NFL, EJ Christian?
What is it?
Trying to bet the NFL this year is damn near impossible.
It is. So far, it is. Vegas figured things out pretty early. And then these teams, like I said, we said this year's going to be very wonky and chaotic. We probably didn't think it'll go this way. Right. So Raiders 0-3. I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. Raiders 0-3 is shock.
We predicted some silliness in some places anyway, but I digress.
Right. So, Kyle, we just go the other way now. What are 5 things right now you don't know? Number 1.
How good are the Miami Dolphins? I really don't know that. I really don't know that. They have a series of anomalies that have broken their way. You've made the point about another team. Oh, you said about the Cardinals. Oh, they've only been good for a quarter for 15 minutes. Okay. And listen, this isn't a thing defending the Cardinals, but I take that concept and build it to the Dolphins have only been 3-0 and looked like a 3-0 team for 5 quarters. Okay. Let's be clear about that. Now, is this me saying the Dolphins are bad? No. Is this me cheapening the win against Buffalo? No. But you're winning in situations where people said, maybe you can, and you do. And that's impressive. The Dolphins are a lot more credible as a playoff team than they have been to me for the first time in about 5 weeks. However, I'm going to be curious about what's happening when, say, some of the tricks are out of the bag. Coach Mike McDaniel, that's McDaniel, no S, because if you put an S on it, the S must be for sucks, because that's what McDaniel's in Vegas is doing right now. See, right. That's why I have to think about it. They've been everywhere, man. So yeah, we don't know how good the Fins are. That's well, we don't know.
So, and this is why I think this game, as big a win, obviously as big a win the Buffalo game was. We know that's a huge win.
Huge.
Baltimore game week 2, of course.
Huge.
Now you're playing Cincy on a short. You're playing the AFC champions on a short week on Thursday on the road.
Which is a great segue for the second thing I don't know, Ernest Question. How bad are the Bengals? Are they bad at all? Do we have any real basis for understanding? Because my dude Joey Burr apparently was still left a little bit cold from the fact that he had an appendectomy and didn't go through any training camp. By the way, quarterbacks not going through training camp appear to be vast, and all of them appear to be struggling. But all of them are allowed to get passes, except Jimmy Garoppolo, because, people hate Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know.
Because he's handsome, that's why.
I was going to make that joke that why? Because he's so handsome and your mom wants to date him? I don't know. Not your mom.
But. No. Segue into the Dolphins, into the Bengals thing. If the Dolphins win this game with Cincinnati on Thursday night, that's as big, if not a bigger win than being Buffalo. Let me tell you why. As a team, if you're a team ascending to prove to people you're good, certain teams get leashes because they've proven over the course of a certain amount of years that, okay, lose a game, no big deal. They'll turn around. But if you're the new kid in the block, and you don't get to cut the line all of a sudden, like, now you're number 1 in the power rankings. No, you don't get. You need to prove that to me over the course of an amount of weeks. That you are as good as you come. Because
you're the Eagles, and then you get infatuated by them for no goddamn reason at all.
We'll get there later. But
I hear you over the fact of your insecurity of me pointing out facts. But I
know I hate the Eagles, so let's not go there.
Oh, don't, Eagles fan. I've seen your top 5,
but at least last week. But seeing the Dolphins winning on a short week against AFC champions, coming off an emotional win against the division rival, not only rival, but also rival who are, by many, you and I especially have said this already, are our Super Bowl pick this year.
Yeah.
If you can still maintain that on a short week and do that on Thursday Night Football on the road, that's what separates great teams from good teams, is those intangibles.
That's what makes good teams versus the Browns, who come down off of the Baker Bowl losing to the goddamn Jets. I get it.
Right, exactly. So, Dolphins win this game this Thursday against AFC champions. That's a big win. That's a huge win. That's a perception win.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, I think you're for real.
The term you're groping for is statement game. Yeah. And I would argue that too, though, in the grand scheme, you say it's a bigger deal than the Bills. That's a great statement by a media man. Unfortunately, the football math is a lot more important with the Bills game.
All right. So Bengals, number 2, I don't know how good they are either. I'm still, I think they're decent still. I think that Jets game was a big, we need to turn the ship around. They could easily be 3-0 themselves though. Don't forget that. That Steelers game, Minka Fitzpatrick that block PAT. They obviously, they win that game. They should win that game. Week 2 against the Cowboys. I mean, what the hell that was, but again, should win that game. They could be easily 3-0 right now, easily. But we'll know this week. We'll know. All right. The third thing you don't know, Mr. Kyle Nash.
What the hell is going on where the Cowboys are winning games? Like, okay, listen, I get that it's against weaker competition. And listen, it's a good thing you're a Cowboys fan on this show, and that way Monday night wouldn't have ticked you off so much, and I get it.
Cowboy fan, what's wrong with you, man?
Have you heard you?
No.
I'm just saying.
Well,
Anyway,
because I respect Tony Romo and because I have logic when it comes to my analysis. Come on.
if you had logic coming to your analysis, you would have picked the Cowboys as a playoff team representing the division. Oh no, wait, you did worse. You picked the Red Tails. Anyways,
we'll get to that later on.
No, Riptide Rush is doing amazing things, and frankly, I don't know how it's working. It's awesome to observe, but there's no good reason for it. Again, granted, the Giants did their part, but the Bengals did their part. But Riptide Rush and company are winning games, and listen, if you're a Cowboys fan, stick with it, I guess, man.
Well, again, I'm gonna go back to 2 weeks ago after week 1 when Dak got hurt, and everybody gave me crap for saying, why are they not in your bottom 5 right now? Why not in the bottom 5? And I told you guys this.
No, you didn't.
No. I told you this, Kyle. I told you. And this is also a message to one big Jim James niece. Okay.
Well, okay.
I said
Cowboys homer. I get it.
Their defense is elite. If Cooper Rush can hold the fort down, an elite defense could keep you at bay until your guy's back. That has now played out for me now in 3 weeks now. You beat a team. The Bucs lost the Bucs in week 1, but the defense was fantastic in week 1. Held Brady 19 points. Week 2, you beat the AFC champions. Week 3, beat a team that's 2-0 and feel themselves on the Monday Night Football.
So that last defense is very unimpressive. But yeah, I see where you're going. Listen,
my point is, you have the Cowboys have an elite defense. Let's start right there. They have an elite defense. We haven't said this in decades.
Going around that elite-ish. I don't know if I'm there. They have a good defense.
They're top five in the league right now.
Stop it.
They lead the league in sacks.
Stop it.
They lead the league in sacks.
They lead the league in. Look who they've played, son.
They're doing their job.
Right. But again, doing your job is not the sign of elite. Looking at that and saying, oh, dear God, what do we do? To the point that Russell Carrington Wilson has to run all over the yard and save his life because his coach is that bad. That's an elite defense. Okay.
I'm not saying every 2-1 team is created equal. Believe me, the Bears ain't that good. Come on now. Let's stop. We're not going there. But let's give credit where credit is due. Cooper Rush has done a fantastic. Cooper Rush has some great passes to say too, for the record.
And anyone should have expected that.
And he's 3-0 as a starter right now.
Yeah.
At some point, the sample's growing. At some point, you have to get a guy respect. He's doing his job.
Games is a sample. Stop it.
No, I said sample's growing. I said.
Yeah, sure. And listen, he keeps doing it. Like I don't want. You're setting yourself up for the next Matt Flynn, son.
Right? Look, I'm not saying the guys is the next freaking Cody Carlson or something in Houston or something like that. I'm just saying the guys. He's had 3 starts. Okay, his 3 starts were on Sunday Night Football last year. Then his second start was against the AFC champions, and then his third start on Monday Night Football. Clearly, he knows how to play under pressure. I'll tell you that much.
Well, yeah, no, wait, because he has only 2 starts. He played 3 games.
3 starts. Just 3 now.
I thought that went back into his previous backup.
No, he was a starter of that game last minute because Dak they got sick or had an injury last year to Minnesota, and he started that game 13-10.
Right? Yeah, no, I know
that was on Halloween.
He's undefeated into that. That I do know.
1-0 last year, 2-0 this year. So 3-0 as a starter.
Okay, 2-0. Got you. So you are
2-0 this year, right?
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Right.
Okay,
right. So he's done a good job. All right, number 4.
Yeah. Things that I don't know. This list is so short. I have no idea where to go exactly. Well, listen, and again, I could end the segment here. Just go. I know nothing. I am Jon Snow when it comes to the NFL. There's so much chaos.
Yeah.
You know what else I don't know? Let's take it to college. Or is this an NFL only topic?
That's fine. You can do college. That's fine.
I don't know what to make of Michigan yet. They haven't played anybody. Should they be ranked as high as they are? Listen, I get why they are, because they have the makings of a quarterback in a passing game, something you haven't seen in a Harbaugh Michigan coached team in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But I don't know who they're going to be. I have no idea how seriously to take them. And yeah, you know, as much as I can try to turn this into a segue of me warning you about betting the over on Tennessee, Florida, and you not listening again, I can't help you.
Not me. I had Tennessee covering that spread and then some.
No, sir, because you said the over, because I remember making the comment about the fact you've apparently not attended a Josh Heupel coached game during the Huddle Up podcast last week.
That's under, right?
You did say under.
And it went over. It went over, right?
It went significantly over.
Okay.
It was Lucifer Morningstar AF, son.
Go ahead and say it.
Say I took the over because you didn't.
So Michigan, looking through the schedule real quick. We don't know yet. I mean, obviously, he struggles Maryland the first
we won't
half.
know for a few weeks. Yeah, they struggled against Maryland, which is disappointing.
Big game in 2 weeks against Penn State. Let's hope Penn State stays unbeaten until this.
Yeah, Penn State.
Let's hope
the first air quotes big one.
Yeah. Then you got Michigan State, who sucks. Let's be real.
Yeah, they are pretty.
That was horrible performance against who's it? Minnesota. So really, the only test this year is Penn State, and then the big one against Ohio State in Columbus this year.
Correct.
So,
but we still have them bees knees for what reason? Because Jim Harbaugh, I guess. Jim Harbaugh, and they're passing with a quarterback that's passed better than many before. Although the main reason it's a good resume is because, except for maybe Maryland, the team's not struggling, and they're able to, it's kind of like back when your Knowles actually mattered. I don't care if they're undefeated.
Okay. They are ranked too, by the way, for the record.
Yeah, no, that should be happening, by the way.
Right.
The ACC is mediocre, but they're at the cream of the mediocre crop, and I respect that.
Right.
By the way, where's everybody defending Willie Taggart all of a sudden?
Who's defending him?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I just remember hearing a bunch of noise about him getting bought out after 1 year because, something politics, and then all of a sudden Mike Norvell's 4-0, and nobody's talking about that no more. I wonder why that is. Anyways, so with all that in mind, as mediocre as I think Florida State is, I'm glad they're not number 4, like Michigan is. And listen, for my money, there, Seminole fan who has no right to quote The Rock, but I digress. This is the part where you say, "Go Heat, bitch."
You did say it. As I said, in the freaking segment, man.
So be it. But no, I think we're taking. I shouldn't say we. I think the voters are impressed by Michigan on the strength of the fact that they have a quarterback that can allegedly pass well, and it's a brand new toy for Jim Harbaugh to play with.
Well, we'll know more. Like I said, they don't feel like a number 14 to me personally, but again, when you go to the playoff last year, you get a little bit, like I said, leash. You earn some trust. So we'll see. Again, that Penn State, I pray Penn State's unbeaten going to that game, make that game matter even more. I hate when teams like lose a game a week before a big game, and then like Texas A&M, for example, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
All right, number 5. What's the fifth thing on that you don't know, Mr. Effin Nash?
If I'm going to put the Dolphins under scrutiny, I'm going to do the same thing with another team that deserves it. The other thing we don't know is how good are the Eagles. They've beaten basically nobody. But yeah, they beat the Vikings. They have a good roster. They beat Coupons in prime time. And you, sir, and the Burn are just too foolish to keep consistent with your criticism of one Kirk Cousins in your top 5 teams. Just put the pipe down. I know you're due to record with the Burn some point after we're recording this, so he's going to have.
But they're not supposed to know this though, because the order of the podcast is normally the Burn and then Hughes. He's
right. So I'm going to come in behind the fact, knowing preemptively he's going to do it wrong.
Oh, yeah, he did. I told you that. He made it.
Will double down on mistakes you've already made, including Philadelphia. Right. The Dolphins, with this win, for example, should be moving into the top 10 now instead of being on their last week because they had no right. This week,
you're going to hate me today for holding up.
Dancing with the top 5 now because the Buccaneers are just as bad as I told you they were last week. By the way, thank you for making me look good, Aaron Rodgers, and beating the Buccaneers as EJ Christian left you out of the goddamn top 10. So, with all of that,
corrected this week. Relax.
Hey, some of us knew it already last week. You were a late adopter with the Bengals last year too. Let the record show that as well. So, with all of that in mind, the last thing I'll throw in is a bonus to make sure that justice is completely legal. I don't know what the bleep is wrong with the Raiders, but you're sure as hell underperforming. And if you put it on Josh McDaniels, I ain't mad at you. There you go, EJ Christian.
Things we know, things we don't know. Interesting. Plug away, Kyle.
You know what else I know, Ernest Christian? You are a sexy beast. Anyway, course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as a student of the game. Check out my writings with the 3-point conversion. The Matchup Mania is due to come up here on Wednesday. So I have that already submitted as we talk. So look out for that. That should be fun. Check out my work on UCF football and basketball. As we're recording this, even though we're on track to be affected by the hurricane pretty directly, the UCF SMU game is still allegedly on track to be played. Probably
and that's in Orlando, right? That's still in Orlando?
It is at the Bounce House, yes.
Okay.
Which is now, unfortunately, a very bad bad naming considering the fact that there's a hurricane coming through. But I digress.
Yeah. Bad timing.
So, yeah. But that being Parents' Night and all that other stuff, I'm sure there's considerations of people traveling in or not traveling in or all that. I don't know. We'll probably hear more about that after this recording. Well, certainly after this recording, probably on Wednesday. Anyways, check out my writings with UCF, anything UCF related, with the Black and Gold Banneret. Check, I'm going to have my presser preview. Coach Malzahn and a couple players came on. Still at a presser. Anyway, I'm going to preview the game anyhow tonight. That's kind of my job and my gig. So there you go. And then my work as well with the Play Callers Network, the Matchup Madness. I record this after the Huddle Up podcast, where, of course, I humble EJ every week and keep Jim honest as well. Let's be real.
Yeah, he says I had bad takes. His takes is as bad as mine.
Not all of them. So again, when you're so bad at your job, you get a T-shirt for it. That should tell you everything you need to know. Anyways, so
by the way, we need to alter that design. I told him to put my face, a toolish face on mine next to that thing. That microphone.
Yeah, you mean like this beast here in the corner there?
Yeah. That's not toolish. That's actually handsome. I have a toolish face I made.
You have a toolish face you made.
Yeah, quite a few actually.
On a hammer or something?
I gotta send it to Jim later on. I'll send him just like.
What you trying to do there, Binford? What's up? Anyway, no, I hope somebody else gets that reference too. But thank you for getting it, EJ Christian.
Yeah.
No, but check out my work as well. I will be on amongst the list of matchups with the Eagles expert talking about the upcoming game as well, which may or may not be in the Matchup Mania as well. Check that out.
Interesting.
Then as well, any writings I do for the Jaguars, you'll also find on the 3-point conversion, as well as my work with A7BM Sports, the Captain Company morning show with Captain Chris Hill on oldschool101.com, and Demosthenes, Euclid,
something. Yeah.
And Hilarity by Default. Ernest Christian, I got to tell you, you need to put a bit more respect on that guy's name. He's now engaged to be married, so that might have something a little to do with why it's all busy and all that.
No. I get that. I saw his stats update too. Also engaged on Facebook.
So you're not going to say congratulations, just going to talk shit.
I'd rather just talk to him and say his face. Hey, Demosthenes, congrats.
So by the way,
congrats.
Demosthenes is also a huge Disney fan, and I'm sure you wouldn't text him when you were in town either. Anyways, so
wait, he doesn't live in Orlando, does he?
He doesn't anymore. No, but that's not the point.
Oh, okay.
As if it would matter.
Basically, saying you call me a douchebag. Okay, cool.
I'm not calling you a douchebag. I'm just saying that this likeness over here should be on the front of a Summer's Eve box.
Oh God, you guys have watched the video of this, man. Seriously, good Lord, Kyle, as always, thank you. Stay safe. Most important, stay safe, please.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're actually more in the danger track than I am, so keep.
Huh?
I think so. Yeah, it's headed further south. I don't know. Whatever.
No. Well, we're out of the cone.
Your face is a cone. No,
no, we're out of the cone actually, so we're good.
Actually, you would make a hella good cone head. Now that I'm looking at your picture,
my head's really round.
Yeah, but whatever. They have Dan Aykroyd's head is round too, and they found a way.
This is true.
Like the foundation is there,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want you to take work from Garrett Morris, but anyways, nobody know who the hell that is.
I don't
anyway,
know this.
They should
look
at Garrett Morris.
Is he still alive?
I don't.
He was really old back then, but I mean,
I'm thinking not. Well, he was really old after that when he was on the Jamie Foxx show.
Yeah.
Which again, super underrated sitcom.
Oh no, he's still alive, buddy. Alive and kicking, 85 years old.
That's what I'm talking about. So yeah. Anyways, all that joy. Look up
Black
Garrett.
don't crack, baby.
It does
Or
not.
die.
That is a fact.
That's good.
You know, the only thing that might crack is your hairline. Boom. No. You made me. I had to overcompensate. I'm sorry. You made me self-conscious.
It's okay. It's okay.
Anyways, Ernest Christian, honor, joy, and privilege. But until next time, class dismissed.
Go Heat, bitch.